In a sunny meadow, where the grass was always green and the wildflowers bloomed in a riot of colors, there lived a bunny named Benny. Benny was a small bunny with a big heart. Benny had long, floppy ears, a fluffy tail, and big, round eyes that sparkled with curiosity. But Benny's voice was tiny, a whispery wisp, barely a squeak, making it hard for him to be heard. He loved to hop around, watching his friends play their loud, happy games, filled with laughter and joy. Benny wanted to join in, but his voice always got stuck in his throat, making him feel shy and hesitant. So he watched from behind a mushroom, wiggling his nose and dreaming of the day he could join them. Every morning, the animals greeted the sun with cheerful, "Good mornings," filling the meadow with warmth and happiness. Benny tried to join in, but only a squeak came out, so he nodded and wiggled his ears instead, hoping they understood. Benny was a master at being quiet. He could sneak past a fox and nibble carrots silently, a skill that made him proud. He was unbeatable at hide and seek, but sometimes being quiet felt lonely, especially when he saw his friends having fun. Sometimes Benny had wonderful ideas, but by the time he found his courage, the moment had passed, leaving him feeling a bit sad. He wished he could speak up, but his voice always hid away, making him feel even more bashful. Still, Benny was a good bunny, and the meadow was a good place, filled with beauty and peace. He just hoped one day he'd find his voice and be able to join in the fun. For now, he watched, listened, and dreamed of joining in. Oh, Benny, the bashful bunny with a big heart, the bashful bunny with a big heart, who one day would surely find his voice. Benny's best friends were Lily, Pip, and Sam, the loudest, bounciest bunnies in the whole meadow. They were always together, hopping and laughing, making every day feel like a new adventure. One sunny afternoon, the friends had a delicious idea. They wanted to make giggleberry pie, the silliest, giggliest pie ever, filled with sweet berries that made everyone laugh with every bite. "Let's go to the giggleberry bush," shouted Lily, her ears wiggling with excitement. "Yes, yes, let's go!" bounced Sam, his feet barely touching the ground. "I'm hungry for giggles!" squeaked Pip, rubbing his tummy and grinning from ear to ear. Benny tried to cheer, but only managed a tiny poof of air. He wanted to be as loud as his friends, but his giggle was just a whisper. He nodded and bounced a little, hoping his friends would notice his excitement. Off they went, a parade of fluffy tails, up Sunny Hill to the giggleberry bush, giggling and chattering all the way. But today something was wrong. The bush was bare. No berries, no giggles. The leaves rustled quietly, but there wasn't a single berry in sight. "Where are the berries?" gasped Lily. "My giggles!" cried Pip. "They're gone!" wailed Sam, his voice trembling. The bunnies searched everywhere, under leaves, behind the bush, even in Pip's pocket. They peeked and poked, but found nothing but empty twigs. But the giggleberries were gone. The bush was berryless, and the meadow felt a little less magical. Who would take all the giggles from the meadow? The friends looked at each other, puzzled and worried. It was a mystery. A big, berryless mystery that made their whiskers twitch with curiosity. The friends sat in the grass, puzzled and sad, their usual laughter replaced by quiet sighs. Benny watched them, wishing he could help. He didn't like seeing his friends so glum. He looked at the empty bush, then at his friends' droopy faces, and felt a little ache in his heart. The meadow felt quiet without giggles. Even the birds seemed to sing a little softer. Benny's heart wiggled with worry. He wondered if he could do something to bring back the giggles. He wanted to solve the mystery, to help his friends and make the meadow happy again. Maybe, just maybe, he could. Benny took a deep breath, ready to try, because sometimes the smallest bunny can make the biggest difference. Benny saw his friend's sadness. Lily's ears drooped, Pip's tummy grumbled, and Sam's bounce was gone. The whole meadow felt quieter, as if the sun itself was hiding behind a cloud. Benny's heart ached to see his friends so down, and he wished he could make things better. Benny wanted to help, so he looked closer at the ground, searching for any clue that might explain their troubles. He sniffed the grass and peered at the dirt, determined to find something everyone else had missed. There, a trail of shiny sticky drops and funny pointy footprints. Not bunny prints at all, but something mysterious. The marks glistened in the sunlight, leading away from the berry bushes. Benny's eyes widened in surprise. He knew who made those prints. His mind raced as he remembered stories about the mischievous critters who sometimes visited the meadow. He tried to shout, "Look, footprints!" but only a tiny squeak came out, barely louder than a whisper. His excitement bubbled up, but his voice just wouldn't cooperate. His friends didn't hear him. They were too busy being sad, lost in their own worries and not noticing the clues right under their noses. Benny hopped, waved, squeaked, but his voice was too small. He tried everything he could think of to get their attention, but it was as if he was invisible. He tugged Lily's ear, poked Pip's tummy, and bopped Sam's head, hoping a gentle nudge would snap them out of their gloom. "Oh, Benny, we're too sad to play," they sighed, their voices heavy with disappointment. Even his best efforts couldn't lift their spirits. Benny stomped his foot, a tiny, silent stomp that barely made a sound. He felt so small and helpless, wishing he could do more. He had to do something. The answer was right there, sparkling on the ground, waiting for someone brave enough to follow it. He wiggled with frustration, wishing his voice was bigger, wishing he could shout loud enough for everyone to hear. But Benny knew he couldn't give up now. But Benny didn't give up. He stood a little taller, his determination shining through his worry. He looked at the trail, then at his friends and back again. Maybe, just maybe, there was another way to help. If they wouldn't hear him, maybe they'd see him. Benny's determination grew, and a new idea began to form in his mind. He was ready to try something new, something bold. Benny took a deep breath and prepared himself for action. The mystery of the missing giggleberries needed solving, and Benny knew he was the only one who could do it. Benny was the bunny for the job. He felt a spark of courage deep inside, ready to shine. He just had to find a way. His friends needed him more than ever, and Benny was ready to be their hero, no matter how small his voice. Even if he had to do it quietly, Benny would not let his friends down. The adventure was just beginning. Suddenly, Benny had a bouncy idea. If his friends wouldn't hear his squeak, maybe they'd notice his bounce. Benny started bouncing, big, purposeful bounces, following the sticky trail. Bowing, left, right, zigzag. He pointed with his nose at the footprints. Lily, Pip, and Sam watched, confused. "What is Benny doing?" asked Lily. "Is he dancing?" wondered Pip. "That's a bouncy dance," said Sam. Benny kept bouncing, leading them past logs, dandelions, and into the whispering woods. The sticky drops grew bigger, the footprints clearer. Benny's friends grew curious and followed. "Maybe he found something," said Lily. "Or a snack," hoped Pip. "Or maybe he just really has to go potty," giggled Sam. They bounced after Benny, leaving their sadness behind. The mystery bounce was on! Bowing, bowing, bowing! Benny's silent message was finally being heard. The adventure was just beginning. The bouncy trail led to a clearing. There sat Ferdinand the fox, surrounded by giggleberries, crying. Next to him, a little bluebird with a bandaged wing chirped sadly. The bunnies stared. This wasn't a berry thief, but a berry mess. "Why did you take our berries?" asked Lily. "We wanted giggleberry pie," added Pip. Ferdinand sniffled. "I wasn't stealing. I was trying to help my friend." Benny remembered. Giggleberries could make a healing cream for boo-boos. Ferdinand was just trying to help the bird, but didn't know how. Benny knew the secret recipe. This was his moment. He had to speak up. His heart thumped. His friends were confused. The fox was sad. The bird was hurt. Benny took the biggest breath of his life. He puffed out his chest, opened his mouth, and he shouted. His voice rang out, clear and strong. Everyone stopped and stared. Benny had found his voice. He was ready to help. The bashful bunny was brave at last. The mystery was about to be solved. All eyes were on Benny. "Stop!" Benny's voice boomed. No squeak, no whisper, but a real loud word. Everyone stared in shock. Benny had spoken. "You're squishing the berries all wrong," he said. Benny hopped over, explaining, "You have to tap them gently 3 times and sing the wiggly jiggly song." Ferdinand blinked. "The wiggly jiggly song?" "I know it," Benny said proudly. He sang, "Wiggle to the left, jiggle to the right, make the berry cream all shiny and bright." Lily, Pip, and Sam joined in, tapping and singing. The mashed berries turned into magical, healing cream. Benny gently put some on the bluebird's wing. The bird chirped happily. Ferdinand smiled. "Thank you, Benny. You're brave and smart." Benny's chest puffed with pride. He wasn't just bashful Benny anymore. He was Benny the brave bunny. There was enough cream for the bird and plenty of berries left. The friends cheered. Benny's voice had saved the day. The meadow would giggle again. Hooray for Benny! With the bird healed, Ferdinand shared the berries for giggleberry pie. The bunnies cheered and hopped home, Benny humming the wiggly jiggly song. This time, Benny hopped in the middle, his voice fluttering like a happy butterfly. They made the best giggleberry pie ever, sparkly, sweet, and full of laughter. Giggles filled the burrow. Pip, Sam, Lily, even Ferdinand laughed. Benny giggled the loudest of all. From that day, Benny was different. He still listened and wiggled, but now he spoke up too. He greeted the daisies, the sun, and shared his ideas. Benny learned his voice was powerful, a tool for helping, sharing, and joining in. The meadow learned too. It's good to listen, but sometimes you have to talk. Every voice matters, big or small. Don't be afraid to speak up. You might just save the day. Benny the brave bunny had found his voice, and the meadow was never quiet again. The end.